1, 2, 3.
RVP! Welcome to the episode. We back.
That's good. That's going on the episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Right Bench Podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm James.
Season 3, episode 20, so we've gone a long way. I think 3 more episodes after this. So
yeah, 3 more.
Close to the end, then we'll have like 4 weeks off and do it all over again. So, alright. College football finals, we're going to do playoff awards, and then recent rundown and NFL stuff. And yeah, and we'll have a guest speaker today. So
He's back.
Oh, yeah, he's sitting right there today. So
yeah, he's behind. He's waving.
If we start laughing, it's because of him. Alright. It's not because of James' jokes.
I'm pretty funny.
No, you're not. Alright, National Championship. Ohio State 34, Notre Dame 23. I fell asleep halfway through this game.
Sadly.
So, yeah, I didn't get to watch the good part, but it's okay. I watched the clips.
I'm gonna be real with you. There wasn't a good part in this game.
Well, it was like 3rd and 11, and they almost didn't.
It was some cool moments, but this national championship was rough. I'm not gonna lie. It's boring, and the last couple have really been like that, in my opinion. The last 3, really. I mean, we had Georgia TCU. We had.
Yeah, it was
Washington, Michigan last year, and
then
this one this year. It just hasn't been great.
Yeah, so I'll actually start with my first takeaway here, was that the 12-team playoff was good, but, like, it wasn't great. I kind of got, like, by the end, by the national championship, I wasn't really excited to watch it. I kind of got tired, and that's kind of what happens at the Super Bowl. It's something that's going to happen. It's just kind of a lack of excitement later in the playoff, just because it's an old thing now. It's been going on for a month. It might be a year-to-year thing. Maybe next year, if it's a great game, like between 2 powerhouses in the finals, maybe I'll be super excited. But this year, this wasn't like that. So we'll see if that's every year thing or just a year-to-year thing. And I think the seeding's going to get tweaked at some point for this playoff. Probably not next year, but in 2 years it'll be tweaked because like there's some voting rules and stuff. They'll probably add some teams in a couple years though.
It felt off. It didn't feel like it was the national title game, right? First of all, we're still playing it on a Monday night, and it does not feel right, if I'm being totally honest. In my opinion, it should be on a Saturday night, like college football.
They get more ratings on it.
They do, because it's the only thing on TV, right? So,
and it's also like a work night, so people have to be...
But it felt like this one, or just this year, it felt like, first of all, it was too late, right? They're going to have to either start the season earlier or figure something out where it's not as many weeks. I don't know what they're going to have to do, but it was way too late. And it felt like just there was no hype around the game whatsoever. And maybe that's because it was the teams playing in it. Maybe there wasn't many cool storylines. But no one felt really interested to watch the game.
Storylines for a month now. They're over it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just too long, right? It's been going on for way too long. I do want to start with Marcus Freeman. He is building a winning culture at Notre Dame, and there are players that truly love and respect and want to be there. I think that's the coolest part. He's building a better culture than Brian Kelly did. Brian Kelly laid the foundation. Yeah. Marcus Freeman's the one building it up.
Yeah, I was about to say that, right? Brian Kelly was the guy that laid the foundation, made it to where Notre Dame's a good program, and then he left. Marcus Freeman is now building the culture, right? And, so that's a great thing that Notre Dame needed desperately. For Ohio State, I just said Ohio State was just better than everyone else this year. They played their best football in the college football playoff, which is great to see. But Notre Dame, I respect them here. They showed that they could hang with Ohio State. Showed that they were worthy of being in the national championship and not like. Stop looking at them. They showed that they were worthy of being in the national championship game by clawing back there late. So kudos to Notre Dame for being there and showing that they deserved it. Just Ohio State was just better.
I gotta give big kudos to Will Howard. I have to because
not yet.
This is my point. That not yet.
No.
Okay.
You want to go ahead and get to the next thing then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh boy.
Stop talking! Alright.
Yeah, we have a background audience. It's like we're on a show. Like, like an old school, like, we need a laugh track.
Yeah, no. Hey, when I hold up my hand, clap.
Clap means clap.
Clap!
You should say good boy.
Alright, let's get back into it.
Alright, college football playoff awards for this week.
Alright, college football awards for this week.
For the playoffs.
I'll become the new host for the playoffs. College football playoff awards. Our first one is going to be the MVP. Who's your MVP?
Yes, my MVP is Will Howard. I was trying to come up with a joke, but I couldn't think of a good person. So Will Howard, quarterback, Ohio State. 82 of 109 in the playoffs. That's 75%. 1,150 yards. That's 287.5 per game. 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was also an effective runner when he needed to be, especially against Notre Dame. He had 57 rush yards, and that's not accounting for that is with the sacks in there as well. I think is that how it goes in college?
Yeah, it is.
Maybe okay. And with Will Howard, Ohio State never put up under 28 points in a game in the playoffs. They put up 40 twice, so that's because of Will Howard. Also, Jeremiah Smith and just the whole offense in general. But Will Howard is at the helm, and his QBR for every single game was above 90, which is really
incredible.
Good to see.
Yeah.
So Will Howard, my MVP.
My MVP is also Will Howard.
Oh, I thought you would go Jeremiah Smith.
I
or
did.
Jane Daniels.
I thought about it. I thought about going with Jeremiah Smith, but I had to give it to Will Howard because I hated on him a lot at the beginning of the year. I did not think he was fit to lead the Ohio State program. I just didn't think he was going to be as good coming from Kansas State. He was incredible in the playoffs. He showed why he was the best quarterback left, truly. He made some amazing throws down the stretch. Obviously, the 3rd and 11 play at the end where he threw a go ball to Jeremiah Smith was incredible. That'll go down as one of the greatest Ohio State plays of all time. And in this game, he set a college football playoff record, or college football final record, with 13 passes completed. The first 13 passes. He was 13 for 13. Incredible stuff. And I actually thought that Notre Dame was going to hang in with them. After that first drive, that 18-play drive, I thought Notre Dame had a chance. And Will Howard stifled that in the first half. The game was already over.
Yeah, I came in thinking, Ohio State's going to jump on him like they did all the other teams. Then Notre Dame had that touchdown. It was like, oh, okay, maybe they're going to stay in it. And then Ohio State just started dominating. And they couldn't come back just too little too late, which is why I said what was in my prediction last week. So, next award is going to be D-Pop, Defensive Player of the Playoff.
D-Pop.
My D-Pop, I went kind of different. I didn't want to take another Ohio State player. So
I did.
I know you picked Jack Sawyer, I know. But you want to see defensive play of the playoff is Jack Sawyer. But I want to say defensive player of the playoff. I went with Zakee Wheatley, the safety from Penn State. Yeah, they only made the semifinals, but this guy in 3 games had 26 tackles. He had a sack from the safety position, a fumble recovery, and 2 interceptions. And he led a Penn State defense that was amazing throughout the playoff. They gave up, 10 to SMU. I think it was 27 in Notre Dame, which is all right. But they played solid on defense. That's a little high of a number, but still played solid. And then who was the other game? Boise State, they gave up 17, I think. So, really good defense from Penn State, led by Zakee Wheatley, who had a big playoff.
My D-Pop is not Jack Sawyer. He made the best defensive play of the playoff, but he was not the defensive player. I did go OSU. I went with a linebacker. I went with Cody Simon. He won defensive MVP in the national championship. He had 38 tackles in the playoff. It was really impressive. Their entire defense played great. They have veteran guys, but they also had a couple transfers that came in. The way they coached their defense was incredible to me. And Cody Simon kind of led the charge in the playoffs, even though he is a senior middle linebacker, right? And even though he's not the best player on the field, he showed why he's a senior and why he should be on that field. He's my D-Pop pretty easily. I think it was just the amount of tackles, especially solo tackles, that sent it over the edge for me.
Yeah, so this next award, but yeah, that's a solid pick there. I like that. Caught up, coach of the playoff. Couldn't think of there's no good word to say there. But coach of the playoff.
Co-Pop.
No, because there's...
Coach of the play...
You said you put a P in there.
Cop.
Coach of playoff? Sure.
Cop.
Sure, okay.
Cop or drop.
Cop, alright, shut up. So, I think we're going to have the same pick here, I hope.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame. Notre Dame didn't have the most talent this year. They didn't, alright? They had some. They didn't have all the talent in the world. And they lost to Northern Illinois, if you remember, which I'm sure you do.
Oh, yeah.
When James picked them to make the playoff. But then Marcus Freeman, what he did, he rallied the troops, and they didn't lose another game in the regular season. And that's, I guess, all the good teams they played. Maybe weren't great teams, but they played some good teams. And everyone doubted coming into the playoffs. Hey, Notre Dame, they're not even going to beat Indiana. And Indiana was bad. But they're not going to beat Indiana. Oh, but they're definitely not going to beat Georgia. Oh, and here they are in the national championship. And they almost pulled an epic comeback late, and that was led by Marcus Freeman. Again, rallying the troops, saying, hey, y'all are not out of it yet. And they came back and got it within a score, one play away from getting that ball back. And everyone just bought into the Marcus Freeman culture, right? Notre Dame played together as a team all playoff, all season, and that's what really can make a difference in college football. That made a difference with this team. And they played with heart, which is awesome. And that's all because of Marcus Freeman, right? Their future's bright, especially in this era of college football where you don't have to win every game to make the playoffs.
Mine is Marcus Freeman, too. He genuinely, every single person he coached against, I guess, he outcoached. In the first round, he outcoached Kirk Sidney. We said that was going to be a big coaching battle. He outcoached him. Kirby Smart got outcoached.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do. He outcoached James Franklin, and then he gets to the national title. And I'm not going to lie, he might have coached a better second half than Ryan Day did. The second half of Marcus Freeman, coaching ability, the way you saw him on the sideline, hyping up his players, saying, hey, we're still in it. There's one word for that, and that's culture. And there's not many programs where you look and you say that every player has bought in. There's not many programs across the country. That was one. Every single player bought into this culture from the first game of the season. They had a bad loss at the beginning of the year. There is not many coaches that would be able to take a team that lost to Northern Illinois to a national title game. There's not many that could do it. Marcus Freeman is one. He's the coach of the playoff.
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't take an SEC job soon, because that would be a shame.
I think he's going to stay there.
We probably would have said that about Brian Kelly, too.
True.
But we'll see. I think Notre Dame's got him that contract. He'll stay there. Anyway, you want to do a recent rundown?
Yeah, cue the music.
Ohio State beats Notre Dame to win the national championship this year. It's first under Ryan Day and second in the college football playoff era. Buffalo, Kansas City, Washington, and Philadelphia reached the conference championships and NFL playoffs. 4 coach hirings this week. The Jags hire Liam Cohen, the Bucs offensive coordinator. The Bears hire Ben Johnson. The Jets hire Aaron Glenn. The Raiders hire Pete Carroll, former Super Bowl champion Pete Carroll. Those are all head coaching hires, obviously. NFL MVP finalists are Saquon Barkley, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. And other award finalists are already announced. You can go look at those if you want. Are also announced, sorry. You can go look at those if you want. Dodgers signed Roki Sasaki and Tanner Scott because they were bored. The Blue Jays signed Anthony Santander. The Guardians signed Paul Sewald. And the Angels signed Tim Anderson, and he will make them worse. The MLB 2025 Hall of Fame class is Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner. Congratulations to them. Ichiro actually was one vote away from being unanimous. Brendan Miller is out for the season with a wrist injury. In the NBA All-Star Game starters in the East, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Jason Tatum. In the West, Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Nikola Jokic. I have no idea how this is going to work with the new format, because there's 15 starters.
Yeah.
James, big question for you today. Do you blame what the Dodgers are doing to baseball right now more on the Dodgers or on the cheap billionaire owners? And this is going to apply to the whole problem across the sport, not just the Dodgers.
I'm going to pin it more on the owners, if I'm being honest. Yeah. It just feels like there's no control in baseball right now, and especially on the Dodgers.
There is control, but they're just not using it.
Exactly. There's a penalty, but they're going to pay the penalty, right? Yeah. It's just not, there's not enough owners that can do that, and the Dodgers are just one of them. No. The Angels owner can't go do that.
They're all rich billionaires. They just want more money.
Exactly.
The less money they spend, the more money they make.
Care. Exactly, they don't care.
So it's not about having an owner that has the money, it's about having an owner that has the want to win.
Yeah,
and the owners, and the A's owner is just stacking bucks right now.
Well, yeah, but no one wants to go there. That's the problem. Maybe once they get to Las Vegas.
If they sell the team, if they bring a new owner in, new everything, and they start spending money, like that's what the Mets did.
Yeah, but that's in New York. Cohen, it's different.
It is. It's a little different, but anyone could do it. I'm telling you, anybody could do it. It's just about having the right owner, and it's not. You don't have to go over the luxury tax to stop this super team from happening. If everyone gets close, then it'll be a fair game. That's why the luxury tax is where it is. So you just have to be able. You have to have an owner that's willing to spend and willing to put his money on the line to win, rather than just stacking bills every year.
I do think that location does matter, right? Because people want to be in LA and New York more than they want to be in Oakland or Milwaukee, anywhere else like that, right? People want to be in LA, New York, Miami. They want to be in those 3 states mostly. So I don't know what the Angels owner is doing. I think there's a lot of problems there, but I would pin it more on the cheap billionaire owners.
Yeah, it is, because the Dodgers, they're just taking advantage of it. They're just saying, hey, we're spending and you're not, so we're just going to keep winning.
I'll tell you this, though. LaMelo Ball got snubbed from those East starters.
He did.
I can't believe that Donovan Mitchell got it over him.
I checked. I actually haven't been following the NBA at all, so I checked the stats after I wrote this down. I was like, I wonder if there's any snubs. I saw LaMelo top 5 in scoring, and Donovan Mitchell. I was like, Donovan Mitchell's up here somewhere, right? And then I just scroll to find Donovan Mitchell scoring. Even
Brunson's not even up there. He's up there, but he's not, on LaMelo Ball is beating both of them in points, rebounds, assists, field goal percentage, and blocks.
For Donovan Mitchell, it's team success, and I get it.
I get it, yeah.
LaMelo Ball's been better. But he's on the Hornets, so whatever. NFL Divisional Round. I'm making good time here, James. I'm excited about this. So, Divisional Round. Chiefs 23, Texans 14. Let's start there. 2 takeaways. Go ahead.
I think the first takeaway is just the overall what the Chiefs are. You have to be perfect. You have to play a perfect game against the Chiefs, or you're not going to beat them in the playoffs. It's not easy, especially for a Texans team. They were kind of treading water uphill, right? It's not easy to beat the Chiefs. They hurt themselves with some penalties. There were a couple missed calls. Obviously, there were a couple referee problems, but that's what happens when you play the Chiefs.
Can I give my take on this?
Go ahead.
Mahomes knows how to manipulate the refs, and the refs aren't changing, but but Mahomes knows what to do to get the call, and because he's just using his brain and doing what he needs to do to get the call. The refs should be changing, but anyone could do it, I think.
Yeah, I understand it, but there's some things that you don't like out of the Chiefs. Like, there was a play where Mahomes kind of stays on the sideline. So Caleb Williams did this year, where he's acting like he's running out of bounds, and then he stops on the sideline, and they blow by him, and he keeps running up the sideline. Dan Campbell was the only coach to stop him on that. Rocked him, took him out of the game for a couple plays. So Patrick Mahomes gets hit while he's in bounds and flops out of bounds. There's a lot of different things that happened in this game that made me annoyed. But you have to be perfect to play the Chiefs. I'm not putting any doubt on the Chiefs' success. They are successful, and they are the best team in the league right now. They are the team to beat. But there were a couple missed calls in this game, and it was just kind of a sloppy game.
Yeah, the Chiefs, they just don't lose. Whether they play good, whether they play bad, frankly, they did this week. And it's not like a sexy performance every week. It really never is. They just win the game.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really, really tough to knock them out. I mean, there's a reason trivia question. Don't think about it, because you'll get it.
Okay.
But who are the only players to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs?
Burrow.
And? See, I told you not to think about it.
I don't know.
Joe Burrow, Tom Brady are the only two.
Oh, yeah, Tom Brady. Well, Tom Brady beat him in the Super Bowl.
Tom Brady did it twice. He beat him in his second year or first year. And then did it again.
Oh, it would have been AFC Championship in 2019?
2018 or 19.
2018, and then he beat him in the Super Bowl.
So he beat him in one AFC Championship, one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But that's it. Burrow and Brady. Those two guys are the only ones that beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and there's a reason to do it. And if anyone can do it, it's Josh Allen. He's that guy in the playoffs, kind of like Burrow is, elevates his game. And this is Josh Allen's best shot so far with the talent discrepancy from the supporting cast. So I'm interested to see that.
For the Texans, I do want to say I was impressed with the way they were moving the ball without Diggs and Tank Dell. First of all, Stephon Diggs could have played in this game. I've got a lot of questions about what Stephon Diggs is doing in his recovery and if he wants to be in Houston even. But besides the point of that, there was Xavier Hutchinson was really good in this game. Nico Collins was great in this game. Joe Mixon played a good game. The Texans have something, and if they're fully healthy, they are scary to me. And if C.J. Stroud can get back to the way he was playing as a rookie, this Texans team is scary in the AFC.
They just fired their OC today.
They did. Yeah.
But what I have with the Texans is that they wasted awesome opportunity to beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs played a bad game.
Sure.
The Texans, they outgained them in yards. Mm-hmm. They outplayed them, frankly. They did. Stop! Put your hand down.
Point of information.
What?
All of the teams that lost had more yards than them.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know that. Wow, thank you.
What is that? I don't know what that means.
All of the teams that lost this week had more yards than their opponent.
Yeah. Well, there's been one time ever in the playoffs where the Chiefs. Okay, there was some stat where the Chiefs have never had less yards than their opponent in a game.
Until now.
Or it was till now, and they won it or whatever. It was some weird. It was crazy stat. Their dominance is insane.
Yeah. Well, this is what the Chiefs have been this year, though, right? They found ways to win. And the Texans, the Chiefs didn't really find a way to win this game. The Texans found a way to lose it. They had so many penalties. They made a big play. There was a penalty every time. And so they would drive down the field and then get penalties back. They had so many yards, and C.J. Stroud played a clean game. There was just too many penalties. The Texans beat themselves in this game. And they wasted one of C.J. Stroud's best opportunities for a while to beat Patrick Mahomes. But, of course, C.J. Stroud will have more opportunities. He's going to have a long and prosperous career. But this might be the last time in a while he has a real shot like this.
I agree, yeah.
So next game, Commanders 45, Lions 31. I want to start with the Lions because this might sound crazy. Actually, I'll start with the game first, then I'll go to my Lions take. So, the Lions, they did the one thing they couldn't do to lose this game. They're a way better team than the Commanders are. I think you can agree with that. They're a much better team.
On paper, yeah.
Yes, they are. But they did the one thing they couldn't do, the one thing that would help them lose this game, and it's turn the ball over. They did it 4 times in this game. All of them were by Jared Goff. Really tough game by Jared Goff. And they still put 31 points. That's how good this team is. They turned it over 4 times and still scored 31 points. And if they don't turn it over, maybe even once. If they just turn it over once, they win this game. And that's how you let a team that's worse than you win. And that's what they did in this game, right? They let a team that had no business beating them, and they let them win. And That's because of all the turnovers. And, of course, Jaden Daniels played great. This whole Commanders team did what they needed to do to win, which is very impressive. But the Lions really turned the ball over a lot and allowed the Commanders to do that, which they should. Commanders should have been pinned to the ground early and not like it should have been over because they're just so much worse. But that's just how it works. And for the Lions, I said, did the Lions Super Bowl window close? It sounds crazy.
No.
It sounds crazy, but they lost both their coordinators, and that can really make a big impact. Ben Johnson was their play caller on offense. Aaron Glenn, their play caller on defense. Without those, they're going to be a lot different next year. And Dan Campbell, how much does he know about calling plays? Not really. I mean, he's more of a culture guy.
We'll find somebody.
So I know it sounds crazy, but is it though? Think about it. Like this is going to be a much different team next year. They probably won't be as good. I'm sure there's some guys got to let go in free agency because all the good players they have. And this was their best shot to do it in this dynasty, and they just missed it.
Yeah, I do. Going to the point of the Lions turning the ball over, it was an ugly game for them. It really was.
And they still put up 31
But
points.
I do want to look at the Washington defense and give the Washington defense their flowers because they played a great game, right? They turned a pick into a pick six, right? That is a momentum shifter. I just think the defense for Washington is going to play a big role in the NFC Championship, and even if they can get to the Super Bowl, it's kind of going to be the X factor for them because their offense played so well. The offense put up 45 points against a Lions defense that's been top 5 all year. But I do want to say that the injuries caught up on them. They just didn't look as good, right? And going up against, like the Lions, going up against like Minnesota or whatever, they didn't need some of those people. In this game, it felt like they did, and the injuries finally got to them. I would have liked to see them go farther, but I'm glad the Commanders got a win.
Yeah, me too. I don't know, man. It's like the Commanders' defense, if you look at it, they give up 31 points, which is not good, obviously, but they made the plays that flipped the game. They made the turnover plays. That's what they have to do. They're not a very good defense, right, points-wise. They're going to give up the points, but it's about making the plays in the game that can flip the momentum and give the offense good position, and that's what they did. For the Commanders, I said the Commanders, they slayed the Giant. They played a perfect game. It was a whole team effort from their forcing four turnovers, from Brian Robinson Jr., 2 touchdowns, and Jaden Daniels put on an absolute clinic out there, made no mistakes, did what he had to do, nothing special, right? Made that one great throw to De'Ami Brown. Other than that, it was just dink and dunk, win the game. That's what he did, put on an absolute clinic. And at this point, like, who can't they beat?
Why not them?
They beat? Yeah, exactly. Like, nobody's doubting the Commanders anymore. Nobody is. Like, everyone knows that the Commanders have just as good of a shot at the Super Bowl as the Eagles do. And everybody should be scared of them because the Commanders are not done yet.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like this team just has something special, right? And I think, I've got a question for you. Can Jaden Daniels truly be a top 5 quarterback right now?
I have to think.
Because my list, I was thinking about
close.
it, like my list of just top 5, not top 5 this year, but top 5 would be Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar.
Yeah. And then
who's after that?
I would say it's between Jaden and Stafford. I think Stafford's a great quarterback. Like,
okay, well.
I'm going to look at the team.
No, it's not Stafford. But you can say Stafford's maybe top 10, but he ain't top 5.
Let's see. Who else would even have a shot? Like, obviously, Jaden would be...
I mean, you can think Jalen Hurts hasn't had a good year, but he is a good quarterback.
Jalen Hurts isn't as good as Jaden Daniels.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff is an option.
It's not Jordan Love.
No, I would say, sure. Yeah, he definitely could. Like, I wouldn't argue with you. I think I personally would say Matthew Stafford right now, but give me like a year, and that's Jaden Daniels'
I mean, we can even think of Brock Purdy. Like, we can throw him in that
Purdy's
conversation, but Jaden Daniels is...
It's Jaden Daniels.
I think Jaden Daniels is a top 5 quarterback.
Matthew Stafford. And if you think Jaden Daniels is top 5, I'm not going to argue with you. Because I'm in the minority by saying Stafford, but I think he's very underrated. I think he's just got all the intangibles. But
you're making him overrated now. I'm saying he's top 5.
I think like pure quarterback.
He has an insane class around him. Like
pure quarterbacking. Like if you're not like pure being a quarterback. Matthew Stafford is freaking insane. Think of all the he's very accurate, very strong. Can run when he needs to. Has perfect pocket presence. Like he does it all. Sorry. Anyway.
I guess yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like what can he do?
I mean, yeah, but I could say the same thing about Jaden. So like,
yeah, Jaden. That's why he's in there.
I could say the same thing about really anyone. Like I could say the same thing about Allen. I could say the same thing about
Burrow. Allen's better than those guys. I would say maybe Stafford 5, Jaden 6, Goff 7,
maybe.
And then I don't know. Goff not really. No, that's just this season. I don't know where I'd go after that. Anyway, Eagles 28. Are we done with that?
Yeah.
Okay, Eagles 28, Rams 22. I'll start with the Rams. The Rams, I picked the Rams to win this game, and the Rams should have won this game. Period. Like, they had way more yards than the Eagles, even with the 3 long rushing touchdowns, but 40-plus yards, all of them, right? And they were still within 6, still had way more yards. They sacked Jalen Hurts 7 times. They held Jalen Hurts to 128 passing yards. That's not including sack yardage. Including sack yardage, it's like 60. And but what did they do to lose? They gave up the 3 big plays. They did. The 3 long touchdown runs are the reason they lost this game. Plus losing 2 fumbles and kicking 2 field goals. And they turned it over on downs once late in the game on their trying to go on a game-winning drive. So they should have won the game, but they didn't. And that's just how it goes.
Eagles got very lucky in this game, and I'm just going to kind of reiterate that. They are lucky to get out of this one. Hurts played bad. I'm just going to be honest. He did not play a good game, and he's injured right now. He's a little banged up, but Saquon had to break out a 78-yard rushing touchdown and a 62-yard rushing touchdown.
Jalen had a 44-yard rushing touchdown.
Of course, obviously, but I'm saying them two touchdowns, they're not even close in this game. Like, Saquon played a good game, but those 2 carried his yardage. Like, if you're just looking at the stats, those 2 breakout runs is what won them the game. So I think the Eagles are lucky to get out of this one, and they do have to play a better game against Washington if they want to go to the Super Bowl. They have to play a better game. They play like that against Washington, I think they're going home.
Yeah, I mean,
because I just think the
Eagles,
Washington's offense is going to be better than the Rams' offense.
I said that last week, and it kind of bit me in the face. So I'm not going to say that this week, because I said the same thing last week, and they did it again, and they won. So, but for the Eagles, I said they can't keep playing like this. They need to pass the ball better. Whether that's, no matter how many pass attempts you get, you need to pass the ball better. If you get 10 attempts, be 8 of 10. Okay? And you can't bank on big plays every game, because there's going to be a game that the next 2, or one of them, where you're not going to get the big plays, and then you're going to be in trouble, because that's all you've been relying on all playoffs, and really since the end of the season. And so if you want to win the Super Bowl, you got to clean that up. You got to be able to pass the ball, no matter, because one game you might need to pass it 30 times. Another game, Saquon might go crazy, and you need to pass it 10 times. Doesn't matter. Got to be able to do it well.
And for LA, we talked about this last week a little bit, but that defense, that young defense that lost Aaron Donald, and I'm talking pretty much specifically about defensive line, how good they've been. Jared Verse has been incredible this year. He's probably going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Byron Young, their 3rd-round pick, incredible. Those 2 guys on both sides have been awesome and fun to watch. And losing Aaron Donald is hard. That is so hard on a franchise and on a defense. But this young defense has played incredibly well. I'm very excited to watch them in the coming future. But I am interested to see if Cooper Kupp's future in LA is a little cloudy, because it looks like Puka's the number 1 receiver. I don't know if Cooper Kupp fits a wide receiver 2 role. I just don't think he does. I think he's a wide receiver 1. And I think teams that need a wide receiver 1 are going to be knocking on that door. So I think Stafford, Puka, and Kyren might be the new trio, and I think Cooper Kupp could be out the door.
Stafford, isn't he like a free agent or something?
Yeah, there's a chance. Like, he could leave. I don't think he's a free agent, but his future's cloudy as well.
The way the Rams draft, why not trade Cooper Kupp for some draft picks? Like, they draft so well. Yeah. Think about it from that. Did they draft Aaron Donald? I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
They drafted Jared Goff. They drafted Kyren Williams, Puka Nacua, Byron Young, Jared Verse, Cooper Kupp. All those guys they drafted. Like, they built this from the ground up. So, interesting to see what they can do there. So let's go to the conference championships now.
We're missing a game.
Oh, shoot, I am dumb. All right. Bills 27, Ravens 25. I'll start with the Ravens. And the Ravens, they just found a way to lose this football game. They did. They had 3 turnovers, 2 of them by Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson in the playoffs in a big game.
Yeah.
And they dropped, I don't want to harp on this too hard, but Mark Andrews dropped the time 2-point conversion late. And so you can't obviously say that he's the reason they lost the game, because you don't have to be in that situation, but tough there. And this is now their reputation. Until they can fix it, until they can prove everyone wrong, the reputation is that they can't play in the playoffs. And I saw something good, someone explain it, where it's not that they don't play like good football in the playoffs, it's that when they're under pressure, they fold. And that's the thing. It's not about the quality of football they play, it's about when they're under pressure in that big play, they fold. Lamar did it last year. Mark Andrews, you guys said, did it this year. Lamar turned it over twice. They found a way to lose this football game.
So this game's not on Mark Andrews. This game is not on Lamar. This game is on the entire Ravens team. They just didn't play as a team. It just felt like all season that this team just had pieces missing, right? You had the whole Deontay Johnson fiasco, and then they added him back to the team. There's a bunch of stuff going on in the Ravens front office that they kind of have to get in check. Like, we look at a team like, in my opinion, we could say the Commanders this year. We can say Kansas City. It feels like everyone buys into a culture. The Ravens, it just feels like there's a bunch of pieces just floating around. They got to keep it in check. And this game is not on Mark Andrews. He did have a crucial fumble on an end-of-a-game drive, and then he dropped the 2-point conversion. It's just not on him, and I do want to harp on that. It really isn't, and it's not on Lamar Jackson. It's on everybody on the Ravens team. Lamar has never been able to win a big game in his entire career. I think that game pretty much sealed that he is not going to win the MVP. Do you think Josh Allen's going to win the MVP?
They've done that before.
I know, but all I'm saying is just like from my perspective, that ain't the MVP.
Well,
in that game, that's not the MVP.
I did think of something earlier where it's like Lamar Jackson. Neither of us put him in our top 3 earlier when we did it because he had an inconsistent year. He was really, really amazing to start the season. Incredible to end the season. That's why he's in this conversation. But in the middle, he had a kind of a low few games there in the middle. That's why we didn't put him in our top 3 when we did, because that was right before his jump back up. So that's something to think about. Josh Allen was great throughout the entire season, whereas Lamar dipped and came up. But yeah, something's got to change within the Ravens. I don't know if it's Lamar. I don't know if it's just the team around him. I don't know if it's the front office or John Harbaugh. I don't know who it is. Something's got to change.
But like, genuinely think about it. Like, Lamar's never been able to win a big game. We can even talk about college. He won the Heisman, but he went to Louisville. He never won a big game. Like, he never went to the playoffs, never did anything. His bowl game, he got blown out by us. We killed him in that bowl game. He was
9 sacks.
He was horrible in that game. Like truly horrible. He's never been able to win a big game in his career. I like Lamar Jackson. I hope he succeeds, but he's got to get something in check. He's got an ego that's way too big. I think the Ravens have some. They got to look at themselves.
It might be less on Lamar Jackson and more on the Ravens' culture. Like, it might just be because, like, did anyone realistically think the Ravens were gonna win the Super Bowl this year? Anybody?
Well, some people did. I mean, some people did.
But did they like really think that, or are they just talking? Like, there's no real belief in the Ravens because everyone knows that this is gonna happen. Like, they're gonna fall short because they do it every year. It's not just Lamar Jackson. It's the Ravens as a whole. I think if Lamar played for the Bills, then he'd be winning big games, but he just doesn't.
And like when Joe Flacco was there, it was just a different culture, right? I mean, they won a Super Bowl, but the way he led was just totally different than the way Lamar leads. Lamar is a captain for a reason, right? Lamar has to lead this team better. I think it goes on his shoulders, but it's not all on him. They got to look in the mirror this offseason. They got to get better. I'm cheering for them, and I hope they play better next year.
Yeah, so now we can go to the Bills, because my king, he just didn't play. He didn't play his best in this game, but they found a way to win. And that's so big for the Bills. It didn't just have to be Josh Allen. That's something huge for the rest of these playoffs. If Josh Allen doesn't play his best game, can he find a way to win? Can that defense, who's lost so much over the offseason, now lost Taylor Rapp this weekend?
Yeah. What a big pick.
So they, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So they were able to make plays and pick up Josh Allen when they needed to. By forcing the turnovers, and Josh Allen and this offense, they made the plays when they need to make them. That's how you win playoff games. You don't have to play the best game all around. Ask the Eagles, ask the Chiefs. You make the plays to win the game, and that's what they did. And they're going to need more. Josh Allen's going to need more against Kansas City if they want to win, obviously.
Bills' defense was just really incredible in this game, but they're shorthanded. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. We might need a DeMar Hamlin legacy game against the Chiefs because they are shallow. They are shallow at safety. He's going to have to play well. He's going to have to fill gaps. This is no joke. Like, DeMar Hamlin's on the roster for a reason. He's starting now for a reason.
He's been starting all year, I think.
Oh yeah, all year.
Because he's
now he is the number one guy at safety. He's the number one guy.
I didn't know that he was good, but apparently he is.
He's had a good year, but it's not like he's.
I checked their stats, and he was top 3 in tackles. He might have been number 1 on their entire team.
I mean, so that's what usually safeties do, though.
Taron Johnson was up there
because they play on the field the most.
Well, linebackers usually are highest, or safeties, but
but linebackers
I didn't know DeMar Hamlin was actually good at football.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty incredible. If DeMar Hamlin is genuinely leading the Bills,
he led them in tackles last week.
Yeah, but if they go win a Super Bowl and he's leading them in tackles, that is incredible.
DeMar Hamlin, or that's just this postseason.
Postseason, yeah.
He's up. Let's see. This is.
I'm sure he's top 3.
He's definitely top. He might be number 1. So Dorian Williams is number 1, then Trell Bernard, then DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah.
And then Taylor Rapp. So
Taylor Rapp's a big loss. It just is. He had a big pick in this game. A momentum shifting pick.
Okay, so that's all for that game, unless you have something else to say.
I'm good.
All right, conference championships, we got just kind of what we were doing for college football, just a little less. 2 key players for each team, keys to the game, and our pick. 6 seed Washington Commanders, 2 seed Philadelphia Eagles is where we're going to start. Key players, I'll start with Washington.
Are we bringing our guest in?
No, we're going to do, so we're going to do both games, like key players and keys to the game, and then we're going to get both picks. So
Okay, so we're going to bring him in for the picks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
He's a guest picker.
Yeah, you're right. He's not an analyst.
If you saw the, short, I mean, he's not an analyst, he just knows the game enough to make the pick.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, my first key player for Washington, I didn't put Jaden Daniels because Jaden Daniels is going to be who he is. We've seen it every game in this playoffs, every game of this season in his college, right, at LSU. He is who he is, no matter the stage, no matter the game. He's not going to elevate, really. He's not going to de-elevate. He's just going to be that guy. And so my key players, Brian Robinson Jr. is my first one. And they need to pound the rock, have a well-rounded offense in this game. Take the pressure off Jaden Daniels, not because you need to, because he's that guy, but because it'd be nice, right? He needs the pressure off. To get the pressure off of him, you know how much that'll open him up and make him jump to that elite level. So
he's already at the elite level.
Brian Robinson Jr. is my first key player.
I went with Scary Terry McLaurin. He played an incredible game against the Lions, and he just feels like he is a prototypical Washington guy. He has been there through the highs, he has been there through the lows, and now he's
high.
Sorry, the high. This is the high. That's a good point. So he's been with them with all the lows, and now he's at the high. So I think it's just a lot of respect that I have for Terry McLaurin. I just want to say that I have nothing against him, and I hope he succeeds. But he's definitely a key player because he's the number 1 receiver. He's a top 10 receiver, in my opinion, in the league for a reason. Scary Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, he's been great with Jaden Daniels. Awesome. Yeah. I actually don't have Scary Terry here. I actually have De'Ami Brown.
That's a good pick.
And I think, again, Scary Terry, I don't know if he's just going to be like who he is. De'Ami Brown's been kind of up and down this year. I feel like he had an awesome game last week. And he needs to make the big plays just like he did last week. Made that play with his eyes covered, right? He was awesome.
Oh, that was a beautiful throw.
And he needs to be, that was great. He needs to be a good second option for Jaden Daniels, like he was last week, like I said, and like he has been for some of the season, but not all of the season. So he needs to be that good second option for Jaden Daniels to be able to look at other than Scary Terry, because this Eagles defense will guard Scary Terry if it's just him.
So I went defense. I'm going to go Bobby Wagner because he's been so good in the playoffs.
I would have told you he's still in the Seahawks.
I saw, yeah. You thought he was still in the Seahawks?
Well, I hadn't thought about him forever, but
he's been incredible in the playoffs. And that's just kind of a guy who's been around for a while. He's leading this Commanders defense. He really is. And I saw a video against the Buccaneers, and it was they had him mic'd up, and for the coin toss, they said, "We want the ball." Buccaneers wanted the ball, right? Mm-hmm. And then he went back to Dan Quinn, and he's like, "That's disrespectful. We're coming." And it just felt like the pressure on the Commanders and the defense has been awesome. I think the defense has to step up against Philly because it's a total different offense. It's a different style offense of what the Lions do. So Bobby Wagner's going to have to lead the charge for that.
Yep. All right. Let's go with Philly now. My first key player is, it's Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to put Saquon here. I'm not that guy. I'm going to put Jalen Hurts. Like I said earlier, he needs to have a solid passing game. I don't care if he gets 4 attempts. I don't care if he gets 40. He needs to have a solid passing game. Have the completion percentage over 70%. Be able to make the throws when you need to, right? Whether you're behind and you have to throw a lot, whether Saquon's cooking, you have to throw 7 times. Like, seriously. Be 6 for 7 if you need to. No matter how many attempts you get, be effective passing the football.
I went with Saquon because he's the best player on the team for a reason. He's up for Offensive Player of the Year for a reason. He's up for MVP for a reason. Right? This is the best player on the team. What?
Sorry, Josh Allen's not a finalist for Offensive Player of the Year. Just saying.
Well, because he shouldn't be. Stats-wise, he shouldn't be.
Lamar is...
Well, his stats aren't better than Lamar.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just telling you, he's the top 2 in MVP. I'm just saying.
No,
I just thought it was interesting that almost all the other ones...
Lamar and Joe Burrow had better stats this year. It makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so. I hadn't thought about that. But still, I think it's funny how Joe Burrow made it... He's like the 5th MVP candidate, but Josh Allen did. At this point, you either put all the quarterbacks, none of them.
Nah.
Or the top quarterback.
This is Saquon's award.
Saquon's going to win.
Yeah. So, but Saquon's is the X factor for Philly. He's going to have to put him on their back because I don't know how Jalen Hurts is going to play. He's been up and down. He still has that injury. He practiced fully yesterday, so he should be good. But obviously, it's going to be lingering. So Saquon, you're going to have to relieve pressure. He's done it all year. Just continue what you do best, man.
Yeah, so you're that Saquon guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's the best player on the team for a reason.
He is, but he's going to be who he is. Like, he's not going to change. But he's not going to be a guy that will change the game. He's just going to be the best player in the field. So
That
he's not
changes
gonna
the
be-
game.
He's not. Well, yeah. Well,
That changed the game
you-
for him last week. They don't have him. They don't win that game.
Well, yeah. But you know he's going to do that. You don't know Jalen Hurts is going to go out there and do that. Like, I don't know. That's just not the route I'm taking here. You can take that route. I thought I had to go defense for at least one, so I went with Zach Bond.
Good pick.
Just don't let Jaden Daniels manipulate you, right? Just keep him guessing at this point. If you force mistakes, great. Like, you'll obviously want to do that, but you probably won't against Jaden Daniels, to be honest. So at least just like keep him on his toes. Don't let him just tear you apart, right? Make him make the read. Don't make the read for him. I think that's really the whole thing. And then don't let Washington crack big runs, whether it's Robinson, whether it's Eckler, whether it's Jaden Daniels. Don't let him crack those big runs.
I went with defense as well. I went one offense, one defense for each team, and I went with Jalen Carter. He has had an incredible year, and I think it's getting pressure to Jaden Daniels. We're getting a rematch from that 2023 SEC Championship game. You remember where he held Jaden with one arm and put up the one?
I don't think. You
remember that? That was Jalen
I
Carter.
don't remember that. I don't know if I was
so disrespectful.
I didn't get to watch like the first half. I was playing basketball.
So
In the bench,
disrespectful.
But
So disrespectful.
I was sitting in the bench.
Right bench.
No, I think I was on the left because I was next to coach.
You were a coach guy? You were sitting next to coach
I tried
guy?
to. So maybe he look over, but oh yeah, you're
Well,
right.
no, you got to sit like in the middle, so when he looks over, he's the first one you see. Because when he looks over, he's not gonna look down.
All right.
Think through it.
Well,
Trust me.
I'll play basketball.
Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know.
Big old
But
JV
Jalen, but Jalen Carter is a big deal in this game because I think it's getting pressure to Jaden Daniels. It's not letting him sit in the pocket. Last week, his offensive line played great. Week before, his offensive line played great. When Jaden Daniels has time, he's going to find someone. He's going to throw a good ball. It's getting pressure to him, especially on the interior line with Sam Cosmi now going out with an injury. Jalen Carter, get pressure to the quarterback.
All right, keys to the game. First, Washington. I said, make the Eagles throw the football. For God's sake, somebody do it. Like, it can't just be Saquon who beats you. Because if it is, kind of like the Rams, kind of like the Packers, that's like a tough way to go out. If Jalen Hurts goes out there and beams you and wins, so be it. Make him do it.
I kind of went a totally different route, if I'm being honest. Don't get the big head, Washington. The lights are not too bright for y'all. Trust me. Y'all have the capabilities to win this game.
No, they're watching, so they'll hear you.
Oh yeah, they're going to hear me. Trust me. Jaden's watching right now.
Yeah.
And he sees me with the jersey.
He's not watching right now because that's not uploaded.
Oh, you're right. He's watching like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours? Something like that? I don't know. He might be practicing.
I'm sure he's got the notification.
But yeah, the lights aren't too bright for y'all. Y'all, in my opinion, are the hottest team in football. You have a chance to win this game. Don't get the big head. Play with a chip on your shoulder. You're a 6-point dog.
That's great.
You've been doubted the entire playoffs. Change it.
For Philadelphia, I said control the game and protect the football. Do what the Lions did. Protect the football. You're better than them. I'll say it like I said it last week. You're better than them. Don't help Jaden Daniels. He doesn't need any help. Trust me. Don't help him or else they're going to win. Just like that's the Lions. Like, they did this. And just keep the ball out of Jaden Daniels' hands by controlling the game with Saquon, and that's how you win.
I went with Jalen Hurts has to take pressure off of Saquon because the entire offense cannot rely after Saquon like it did last week. I think the snow helped them a little bit, especially in the run game. But
I wouldn't say that. I said that last week, and they did it again.
Well, yeah, but that's a little different because it's a totally different team you're going up against.
I said last week.
Washington is a way better offense than the Rams.
Washington's a bad run defense.
Last week it didn't look like that.
Yeah, last week they were good.
So Jahmyr Gibbs, in my opinion, is one of the best running backs in the league. Now you're going to make it up against the best running back in the league, so it is going to be tough. I think Jalen Hurts has to make a couple throws down the stretch. He's just going to have to. I think it's going to be a close game to the finish. He's got to make some good throws.
Yep.
Show me why you're a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, because I believe you're close. Like,
he's like
when he is on, that dude is on. So
Jalen Hurts, I could put him top 10. I would think about it.
About putting him top 10?
He'd be in the realm with C.J. Stroud. He'd be in the realm with Justin Herbert at the end of my top 10. You're the only one.
That is wild saying that Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert.
You were the only one that doesn't think that.
Jalen Hurts has done nothing. Or Justin Herbert's done nothing in his career. Absolutely nothing. He has nothing to show for that.
About pure quarterbacking.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about who's been the better quarterback in the career. Jalen Hurts has been so much better.
I don't know.
He's made it to a Super Bowl. Justin Herbert hasn't had a playoff win.
Justin Hurts hasn't had the team around him. We'll see.
Justin Herbert had an amazing team around him 2 years ago.
Did he?
Yes. God, Keenan Allen in his prime.
Okay. All right, we're not making our picks yet.
No, we're not.
Buffalo, Kansas City, 2 seed, 1 seed. This is the matchup everybody wanted.
Oh yeah.
Other than maybe like Texans, not yet. We got one more. Key players, I'll start with Buffalo. I'll say James Cook. Got to open the offense up for Josh Allen. Not that he needs it, again, but because when James Cook plays well, this offense is on another level. Like I said last week, they're a joy to watch. Whenever they're on, whenever James Cook is good, and he's the key to that, making this offense unstoppable.
Our 3 words last week was spread the wealth, right? They're going to spread it to James Cook. They're going to get him on the outside. He's going to break off big runs. It's going to be important. I put James Cook down as well. Running the ball against Kansas City is insanely important. It's slowing down the entire game because Kansas City plays at such a fast pace. You got to slow it down. I think that's what the Bills can do to win.
Interesting thing, I think I put this down somewhere, but I was looking at the stats for Kansas City last week, and Marquise Brown or Hollywood Brown, I don't know if did he officially change his name to Hollywood? That's what ESPN has him as.
Actually, yeah. That's crazy.
And
Maybe
then D-Hop, they had a total of 0 yards, 0 catches
last week.
Marcus
Brown
just
had
Travis
a catch.
No,
Pretty sure he did.
He didn't. I think he got called back, but
maybe
they had 4 players who caught a pass last week. I thought it was interesting.
That's crazy.
So you said James Cook as well?
Yeah.
My next is gonna be a guy I used to get a lot when I was into cards. Trey Murphy. Greg Russo. Okay.
Okay.
He needs to. It's really the whole defensive line and pressuring Patrick Mahomes. Don't give him all day to make plays because if you do that, he will. At least make him make decisions early and make him not because he's not gonna turn the ball to give the ball to you. Make him make this third best option instead of giving him time to make the best option, kind of. So. I don't know. Greg Russo, pressure Mahomes.
I put Khalil Shakir down here because I do think he's going to play a big role, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to go. I was kind of between both of them. I'm going to go with Deion Dawkins. I think protecting Josh Allen is insanely important in this game. He's the best tackle on the team. He's one of the best tackles in the league. He's protected Josh Allen all year. Josh has had a great year. Don't let Kansas City stop you, man. I think Deion Dawkins plays a big role because Kansas City knows how to bring pressure to the quarterback. Spags' defense is really good at dialing up blitzes, so Deion Dawkins plays a big role.
Yeah, the Texans should have won last week, man.
They should have, man.
All right. Travis Kelce's my first key player because when Kelce is bad, it makes Mahomes' job a lot harder. And when Kelce plays well, like he did last week, Patrick Mahomes, it's just never going to go well for you. Luke, don't break that again. You already
don't break the trophy, man.
Yes, I did right here. He was so good. Kelce was so good last week that Hopkins and Brown had 0 yards total, and there was 4 plays to caught a pass. That's how good Travis Kelce was last week. Do it again this week. Why not?
We talked about guys who slump in the playoffs, like Lamar Jackson, right? Travis Kelce's probably one of the best players I've ever watched that elevates his game in the playoffs. He didn't have an amazing year. Statistically, he didn't have an amazing...
He doesn't elevate.
That's 1 year. We got to see more. Travis Kelce, statistically, is probably the best guy I've ever seen that elevates his game in the playoffs. Travis Kelce is one of the best playoff performers of all time. He is the biggest key player for any of these teams this week. When Travis Kelce plays well, the Chiefs play well.
Who do I think is the biggest key player?
For me, it is Kelce.
It's not Kelce for me. It's gonna be. It's just 2 games, isn't it? I would say it's Jalen Hurts or De'Ami Brown.
Okay.
Or this guy, Chris Jones, because you gotta limit the Bills' running game. Both Josh Allen and James Cook. Because like I said earlier, when James Cook is on, you can't stop this offense. So Chris Jones is my next key player.
I wanted to go Chris Jones, but I actually went with Trent McDuffie. It's kind of just playing the defense you've been playing all year. They're going to send a lot of blitzes. They're going to disguise blitzes. They're going to play a lot of man coverage. Trent McDuffie's the best corner on this team. He's probably going to be guarding Shakir. I would most likely think maybe Cooper or maybe Amari Cooper. I think he'll be on Shakir. Not letting just big breakout plays, right? Because the Bills know how to make big plays. I think Kansas City's defense is going to be ready for it. Trent McDuffie plays a big role.
I feel like this against the Bills, it might be more of him staying on one side.
Maybe, yeah. Just moving him around.
Look at this, though. Last week, Hollywood Brown.
He must have gotten called back, catches. I swear.
I think so.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins, 0 catches. Kareem Hunt, 1 for 2 yards. Noah Gray, 3 for 13. Worthy, 5 for 45. And Kelce, 7 for 1. That was literally...
Incredible.
That was all 4 guys caught passes. Crazy. All right. Keys to the game. For Buffalo, it's just take control of the game and suck the life out of Kansas City. Because if it's going to be that close, if y'all are going to be... Stop. If y'all are going to be clashing late, it's going to be Mahomes and maybe even the refs. So don't let the Mahomes or the refs decide the game. Take control of it early and win the game.
So the best team in the playoffs this year at forcing turnovers is the Buffalo Bills. Forced turnovers.
What about Notre Dame?
Okay, well, we talking college football playoffs too? They're up there, sure. But no, Bills are the best team in the NFL at forcing turnovers. They have been all year. continue to do that. You force turnovers, you get Kansas City off their game, you're going to win it.
For Kansas City, I said move the football. And it's tough to find a key to the game for these teams other than get the ball last, but I said move the ball. Just have minimal punting because you know the Bills aren't going to punt. So just don't give the ball to them. Don't lose those possessions. Minimal punting, and don't let Josh Allen take the game early. Give yourself a chance late and get the ball last, and you're going to win the game if you're the Chiefs.
So Buffalo's was forced turnovers. You know the best team in the playoffs at not turning it over?
Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Obviously.
So don't turn the ball over, right? Do not give
Taylor
Buffalo extra chances. You scored 23 points last week. You allowed 14. You won that game. You probably can't do that this week. So don't turn the ball over. Play a clean game. You're the better team. You'll win.
All right. Well, we got a guest picker this week, so we're going to get him on.
Oh, he's coming
Our
from
champion! If you saw this short, thank you. Luke Duval, come on
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
You've done this before. You messed it up last time.
Yeah, messed a little.
Yeah, when you came in.
You came in, kind of messed
It
it
wasn't
up.
as clean.
But you shook my hand, so it's all right. Ooh, some of this. Oh my God.
Man, we touching the mics too now? Luke, I thought you were
Luke,
pro
you're
at this.
fired.
You've been on here. How
Alright.
many times have you been on the podcast? Like all
Once.
seasons.
This is did you come on like just audio in for season 1?
No.
Really? You didn't?
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, we're sorry
You
about
say
that.
I'm 1 for 1.
Second time. So he's the
Look at
Righteous
his
Podcast Picks champion. So you can see his thing right there, his trophy. Jacob already broke it, so just trying to.
Yeah,
break
Jacob.
it.
Jacob was our first champ, and our second champ is Luke Duval.
Pretty
Yeah.
easy to throw.
Yeah.
Jacob,
I
I think Jacob got what he ended up at 5th this
No,
year.
he was tied for 6th. Like,
Sixth,
It
oof.
was like 50%. He was just over 50%.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, our picks. Let's start with the NFC Championship. Philly and Washington. And I don't want to do it right. I don't want to pick against Jay Daniels because
Done it twice already.
I know I have. But I still don't want to. Like I'm obviously cheering for the Commanders in this game, but I'm gonna pick Philly. I think that's gonna be Philly 27, Washington 24. I think the Washington run defense gets exposed by Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts in this game. I think it's gonna be a very clean game by both sides. I think Jay Daniels plays really well. And I think Philadelphia salts the game away late, maybe a game-winning field goal after a long drive from Saquon Barkley. And yeah, I want Washington to win, but I just don't think it'll happen.
Why not Washington, man? Just why not? There's nothing on this team in the playoffs that has shown me why I can't pick them in this game. The Eagles have shown me a ton of things of why I cannot pick them. They looked sloppy last week. They really did. They didn't look great in the first round. I just think that the Commanders are the better team in this one. I think they're going to play a cleaner game. I've got them winning by 10. I've got 38-28 Commanders.
My thought, I didn't pick the Commanders because obviously I think this is more of a coin flip game, but I thought like the Lions gave the ball to the Commanders, gave them opportunities. I just don't think the Eagles are going to do that. I think the Eagles
Maybe.
are going to make this.
I didn't think that the Lions would do it either.
I think that Philadelphia's going to take better care of the ball, which means I think it'll be much tougher for Washington to win the game. All right, Luke, what do you think?
Obviously, Washington.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels, the GOAT, best player in football right now.
Easily.
I mean, I do think it comes down to if Saquon's gonna win the Eagles the game, or they're gonna stop them and Washington's gonna win.
Okay.
I don't think it comes down to much else
So
because
it's Saquon.
Jaden Daniels is gonna ball out. Jalen Hurts is gonna probably not ball out.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
It
It all relies on
to Saquon.
Saquon.
So
I
how
get it.
many-
Wait, prediction: Saquon gets injured, second play of the game.
So how many yards
Dang.
does he get?
Probably like still 50.
That's a
Okay.
50-yard run.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
All right, Buffalo, Kansas City. My pick, I have Buffalo 30, Kansas City 20. I think it's going to be a slower game. I think there's not going to be a lot of punts, not going to be a lot of turnovers. I think it's going to be a much more run-heavy game by both teams. But I think Buffalo gets a lead early off a couple of Kansas City punts. I just don't think they give it up. I think it's going to be a very, like I said, monotonous, like run the ball. After the first quarter, I don't know if there's a punt. That might just be field goals and touchdowns the rest of the way. And I think Mahomes just doesn't get a chance late. The Bills just don't give the refs a chance. And I think Josh Allen and the Bills finally get it done 30-20, but I'm not confident in either of these picks at all.
I really want the Bills to win, man. I think the entire country is wanting the Bills to win, right? I have to pick the Chiefs. I just think they're battle-tested, and they're the better team. I think Kelsey's going to put on a show. I think Travis Kelsey's going to have a legacy game. I have the Chiefs winning in overtime, 27-20. The Bills going for 2 in overtime, not getting it. And Kansas
27-20?
Mm-hmm.
But the Bills
27-28.
Oh.
If it goes to overtime.
See,
Bills
usually you
Well, if it goes to overtime, both teams get a chance now in the playoffs.
In the playoffs,
playoffs.
yeah.
So I do think the Chiefs will win the toss. I think they'll take the ball. They'll score.
You wouldn't take the ball anymore because you want the second possession now.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Yeah.
So that's the Bills will win. Bills will win the toss. Take the second.
Either way, I think the Chiefs win in OT. I think the Bills miss the 2-point conversion. That's a specific prediction. I just think the Chiefs are a better team.
Not specific as Luke's here. All right, go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, as much as I hate to admit it, the Bills are winning. The Chiefs are not winning. It can't happen. The three-peat, not happening. I
hope not.
I
kind of wanted to.
Karma's gonna catch up to it.
Now I will say I do like that there's a villain in the NFL. I do like that there's a team that people want to go at.
Like the Chiefs are a likable team.
Well, they're not likable. They're nothing like the Patriots. They were nothing like the Patriots.
There's nothing to dislike.
The Patriots.
Yes, there is.
The Patriots. No one liked the Patriots because no one could beat the Patriots.
Yeah, that's like.
But you're not allowed to beat the Chiefs because the NFL doesn't.
Yeah, it's so much different. It is like the Patriots were a team that not a lot of people liked them because they were so dominant.
Yeah.
The reason the Chiefs are annoying is they just play a gross brand of football. If I'm being honest,
Patrick
they
Mahomes
don't play clean
fake sliding
games.
and
They
then
do not
flopping,
play clean games.
Wrong sport.
Patrick Mahomes is very fun to watch.
Go play
He
soccer if you want to
complains
flop.
a ton. I love Travis Kelce. There's a bunch of things. Just it's not as fun to watch as the Patriots were in their dynasty. It's totally different feel. If you watch both those teams, you know Patriots were way more fun to watch. I respect what the Chiefs have done. That doesn't mean I can like them.
Yeah, Tom Brady's a better version of Pat. Gronk,
like the better version of Kelsey, maybe. I don't know. I think it's good. That's a really good debate.
Better to watch.
If Kelsey wins the Super Bowl this year, then he's the best tight end of all time. We already talked about it last year.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
I'd agree with that.
My brain, I think, kind of says Chiefs. My gut feeling kind of says Chiefs, but I don't know. I'm not gonna go back and check this because I don't have time. But I don't think I've picked against the Bills all year. I really don't think I have.
I don't know if you have. I haven't picked against Commanders all year.
So why stop now? I think you, did you pick against someone?
Nope, never.
You picked against the Giants, I remember.
Yeah, I learned my lesson. Don't worry. I did not. I promise you I didn't.
How many wins? They have like 3, right?
Yeah.
4?
3 or 4.
3.
I think it was 3.
Who's their quarterback?
No, it was 4.
It might have been 4.
Oh, it was Daniel Jones, then it was Trulock, and then it was
we
Tommy
had DeVito in there. Yeah.
Danny DeVito.
Okay. Those are our picks.
Same skill.
Let's get into Dog of the Week real quick, and then we'll get out of here.
Dog of the Week.
My Dog of the Week is Will Howard, quarterback Ohio State. 17 for 21. That's 81% completion percentage. 231 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. Exactly what I said you needed to do against Notre Dame, who loves to force turnovers. He had a 99.1 QBR. Also, 14 rushes, 61 yards. That's adjusted for sack yardage. And that's 4.4 yards per carry. Crazy thing, he got sacked twice for 4 yards.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be like 80, but it was like 61.
My Dog of the Week is Quinshon Judkins, running back, OSU. I think the really cool thing about this is it shows you how good the transfer portal was and how good Ohio State did in the transfer portal. Because Quinshon Judkins last year, I remember watching him in the Egg Bowl when they played Mississippi State. He was obviously on Ole Miss last year, and he was incredible. I thought he was going to be the primary back. I didn't know much about Travion Henderson. I didn't watch a ton of OSU football last year. But he really wasn't. It was truly split reps. But he was the guy to step up in this game. He had 11 carries for 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had 2 receptions for 21 yards and a touchdown. Had 3 total touchdowns. I do think that Will Howard was the biggest dog, but I do think this guy had a shot.
If Travion Henderson had done what Judkins did in this game, I think I would have picked him for MVP.
What's the difference?
Travion Henderson. Because Travion Henderson was great. It was the better one in the first 3 games. So if Henderson had done that in the 4th game, then I would have picked him.
That's true.
But no, I didn't know who Judkins was till College Football 25 ratings came out.
Really?
I could say the same thing about Travion Henderson. So I knew they'd split reps because they were both top 3.
I didn't know Travion Henderson. I didn't know much about him. I didn't know
either of them were. I just knew they were both top 3 in running backs in College Football 25. So
I don't know either people y'all talked about. So.
Yeah. hey, no, you're analyst. He's only an NFL analyst.
Only NFL.
Yeah, that's why I got this. All right. Anyway, we'll see y'all in the next episode. 3 more to go. Next week, a lot more laid back. Just conference championships, and then have a couple more fun things in there. So we'll see y'all then. And yeah, anything else?
All right. Outro. 1, 2, 3. RBP.
See y'all later. Peace.